Obviously, we're seeing better tea prices and a weaker shilling. All of that should support tea exports. Talk us through the successes.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, we have had a good year for the farmers. In dollar terms, the prices declined, but in Kenya shillings terms, they went up because of the favorable exchange rate. And we also had a lower crop than last year because of the drought conditions. But overall, we were able to manage our costs, and we were able to pay farmers better than we paid them the year before.
Speaking about lower output because of drought conditions, right now there's a bit of uncertainty as to whether or not the rains will come in the next planting season. What's your forecast ecologically, and how's that going to impact on output going forward?
It has become difficult to predict the weather patterns in this part of the world, but we have had good short rains, which we've just experienced in this month. And we believe that should give us a better crop output going forward. And we are also applying fertilizer, so we should be able to see our crop volumes improve in the next few months.
And obviously lots of worries at the moment about a significantly depreciated shilling. Now, that should support you, but at the same time, what we are seeing is lots of pressures on inputs to the Kenyan economy in general. How are all these macro factors going to influence you? Because I don't think going forward it can just be a story of a weaker shilling.
Well, we are happy about the weaker shilling for us as exporters, but obviously there are levels where it begins to impact negatively on the general economy. But we do understand what is happening with the economy. I think we've been affected by the Eurozone. We've also been affected by higher cost of fuel, which affects the entire economy. We also had a bit of pressure on food because of the drought, and food prices went up. But with the short rains that we have seen, we believe that the situation on food should stabilize. And we are also beginning to see a stabilization on the fuel prices as the situation in Libya and other Arab countries come under control. And we believe that we should be able to see a reversal of the situation in the near future.
You know, when you mention Libya, it raises the question of how badly you've been impacted by external factors like the crisis in North Africa and Egypt, for instance, where some of your biggest clients are for the Kenyan tea market. I know that some of those corridors have started to reopen, but in terms of the significant impact that it's had on you and how stable you expect external markets to be for you, what are your views?
Well, the Arab world is a big market for our tea, and Egypt is right now currently the biggest importer of teas from Kenya. And obviously, when we had the unrest in Egypt, we were impacted temporarily. And in fact, the reduction in prices was a result of what was happening in Egypt and Yemen and so on. But things have stabilized. We have seen them coming back strongly in the auction. And we cannot complaining. I think the situation has stabilized. They are buying their normal volumes of tea.
The small-scale farmers have benefited this time around, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the industry is being called on to corporatize. We're hearing that it is very important for everybody to start thinking about economies of scale, large tea estates, so that you can better manage production, exports and earnings. What's being done to address that?
Well, yeah, you're right. I think as the farms get smaller and smaller, they become uneconomical to manage. And I think an organization such as KTDA, which brings together over 600,000 small-scale tea farmers, does go a long way in realizing the gains of economies of scale. For example, we are able to buy inputs such as fertilizer and make quite major savings to the farmers. And at the same time, the factories are able to organize the trucks to go around and collect leaf, which would otherwise be very difficult if the farmers were operating on their own.